When a wrestler changes allegiances too many times in a short period, it can be a bit hard to invest in them, and that was certainly the case with pretty much all of the following grapplers. I'm Gareth, you're watching or listening to What Culture Wrestling, and here are 10 wrestlers who turned face and heel in the same year. Number 10, R-Truth. Remember when R-Truth was one of the most interesting characters in wrestling? What could have been, eh? Part of why Truth's sudden character shift in 2025 was so intriguing is because it was the biggest thing that had happened to him in over a decade. The last time he'd been anything but comic relief was back in 2011, when he turned heel for the first time in WWE. After attacking John Morrison on Raw, Truth turned on the crowd and berated management for holding him down. This led to his one and only pay-per-view singles main event at Capital Punishment. You all remember Capital Punishment, right? With the Obama impersonator? Nope. Yep, I didn't either before I started doing this video. And, WWE in 2011, eh? Once Truth had lost to John Cena thanks to interference from a child in the front row, yes, really, he then formed a tag team with The Miz called The Awesome Truth. They then went on to have The Rock's first WWE match in almost 8 years. Again, yes, really. Before Miz violently broke up the team. Truth returned on the final Raw of the year to attack his former partner and cement another face turn, thus tying his year up in a nice little bow. That's what's up. Which face heel turn were you most disappointed in recently? It may even end up on this list. Either way, let me know in the comments. Number 9, Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy has always felt linked to his brother for obvious reasons. I mean, they're brothers. But in 2009, he was practically Jeff's walking shadow. The tag team icon went into 2009 as a face, but this did not last long. He turned on Jeffrey at the Royal Rumble by costing him the WWE Championship against Edge. This led to a battle of the brothers at WrestleMania 25, which Matt somehow managed to win. Sure, it was to set up Jeff getting his own back at Backlash a month later, but a victory is a victory, my friend. Following his feud with his bro, Matt drifted around Raw until an intestinal injury took him off the road. He returned in August as the special guest referee in a match between CM Punk and, you guessed it, Jeff Hardy. The older Hardy brother would assist his sibling in his fight against the straight edge menace. He then officially turned face again by rescuing Jeff from a Punk beatdown, which put the band back together. Jeff was very quick to forgive his brother, especially after he'd admitted to starting a fire that killed his beloved dog. Blood truly is thicker than water, eh? And kibble, apparently. Number 8, Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was very much a break glass in case of emergency character for WWE in 2018. He spent well over half the year as a babyface, which included a Money in the Bank win. And this is when WWE started messing him around, really, turning him heel so he could feud with Universal Champion and big dog Roman Reigns. The powerhouses already had history together, and the company was keen to exploit this. Strowman officially went evil the night after SummerSlam when he created a new faction to counter the reunited Shield. Remember the Dogs of War with Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre? Yeah, that thing. But everything changed when Reigns had to relinquish the belt to fight off leukemia. Instead of keeping Strowman heel, creative turned him face again to go against Brock Lesnar. That turn led to a squash match at Crown Jewel, whereby the former Wyatt family member was blindsided by Baron Corbin to allow Lesnar to become the new champion. Strowman would feud with Corbin for the rest of the year, leaving everyone wondering why he'd even been given a main event push in the first place. We're still wondering to this day. Number 7, Kevin Owens, 2019. Sometimes a heel turn is so obvious that WWE doesn't even bother hiding it. Kevin Owens returned from injury in early 2019 and found himself oddly inserted into Kofi Kingston's quest for the WWE title. He took Kingston's place in a title match at Fastlane, like a heel, but was still being billed as a good guy. Then, following Kingston's triumph at WrestleMania 35, he even joined the New Day to replace Big E. And guess how long that lasted? To the surprise of, oh yeah, no one, Owens turned on his new friends 1 week later to set up a title defense at Money in the Bank. But instead of building a multi-month rivalry between Kofi and KO that would have justified this rapid betrayal, the champion instead went into a program with Dolph Ziggler. As for KO, he began a rivalry with Shane McMahon that would last pretty much the entire year, and that turned him back into a face. So to recap, Owens returned returned from injury, joined a faction, turned heel, had a title match, and then turned face again within the space of about 4 months. Baffling. Number 6, Edge. The man currently known as Adam Copeland got his 2010 off to a great start. Edge returned as a surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble and went on to win the whole thing. This was technically a face turn, as he'd been in a heel tag with Chris Jericho when he went down injured the prior year. After failing to win the World Heavyweight Championship from his former partner at WrestleMania 26 though, Edge realised the whole good guy thing just wasn't really working for him. It's not for everyone. He turned heel again by attacking Christian, but this evil run was somewhat complicated by the Nexus. Though he did kind of stay a villain, he was also a face by default by being on Team WWE at SummerSlam. Edge would properly become a hero again by October, when he destroyed the anonymous Raw general manager's laptop, which is one of the best things he's ever done, like we salute you for that. This stretch of his career led to another World Heavyweight Championship win as he knocked off Alberto Del Rio at TLC. But don't worry my friend, if you couldn't keep up with all that, you will not be the only one. Before you go any further, be sure to stab that subscribe button in the back or something. Means you'll never miss one of these excellent What Culture Wrestling videos again. Number 5, Shawn Michaels. One of the many rotten things that Hulk Hogan did during his career was interrupt Shawn Michaels' face run in 2005. The Heartbreak Kid began the year as a goodie, ended the year as a goodie, and should have spent the entire year on the side of the Angels. But it wasn't to be. Instead, it was decided that he was going to feud with Hogan, who wasn't turning heel for anyone, brother, at least not in WWE. Michaels began their rivalry by attacking Old Immortal after they just wrestled a tag match. And this was all done to build a match at SummerSlam, which Hulk annoyingly wouldn't be around to promote. Left on his own, Shawn did some of the best work of his career by making fun of the former world champion's age. He even teased a Bret Hart return in Montreal, which got nuclear heat. To show just how ridiculous this whole thing was, Michaels turned face again immediately after his loss to Hogan at SummerSlam. You know, the match where he turned into the wrestling equivalent of flubber. Number 4, Randy Orton. The pandemic clearly did weird things to Randy Orton's brain. Did them to most of ours, to be honest. But back to the Viper. This veteran not only turned face and heel a bunch of times, but he also feuded with like a dozen different people in 2020. His first character shift came at the expense of our old pal Edge. After the Rated R superstar made his emotional return at the Royal Rumble, his former tag partner wasted no time in viciously attacking him on Raw. That angle led to their lengthy match at WrestleMania 36, which might still be going on somewhere. Orton then moved on to attacking old men for the rest of the year. He beat up Christian, Shawn Michaels, Big Show, and Ric Flair as part of his Legend Killer revival. Randy then won the WWE title from Drew McIntyre, held the belt for about 3 weeks, and then started the rivalry that would turn him face. The Viper rounded out the year with a storyline involving The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And given that his opponent was an evil clown from hell, Orton sort of turned face by default. Despite that, he set Wyatt on fire, as you do. I'll be honest, it was all just a bit of a confusing mess, wasn't it? Number 3, Triple H. To quote Robert Burns, the best laid schemes of mice and men gang aft ugly. In English, that means Shawn Michaels was not the only member of DX to have his face run ruined by Hulk Hogan, pretty sure. Only Jesus Christ himself could have gotten a bigger reaction than Triple H when he returned at Madison Square Garden in January 2002. What a pop that would have been. The Game, who'd been a nefarious heel in 2001, had been out for the best part of a year, but the fans' reception to his comeback ensured that he came back a good guy. The plan was for Trips to use this momentum to win the Royal Rumble, beat Chris Jericho for the undisputed championship at WrestleMania X8, and then reign as a triumphant hero. Yeah, some of those things happened, but not all of them. Instead, WWE were blindsided by the popularity of Hulk Hogan's return to the company. Hunter lost the title to the Hulkster 1 month after he won it, and would turn heel later in the year by attacking HBK. Let's face it, heel Triple H is always more interesting than face Triple H anyway. Hogan did us all a favor this time, being honest. Number 2, Steve Austin. The face-heel dynamic of Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2001 is the perfect reflection of how turbulent this period was for WWE. Everybody knows about the infamous ending of WrestleMania X7 when Austin aligned with Vince McMahon. Many fans felt this undermined everything that the pair had put each other through through over the past few years, and they had a point. The plan was to have Austin reign as a heel for the rest of the year, but then something happened. What was it again? Oh yeah, the invasion. When it was decided that WCW wasn't going to become its own brand, the WWF needed a fearless leader to lead them into battle. Enter the old Stone Cold, who turned face on the 16th of July, and this lasted 6 days. Austin turned heel again at the Invasion pay-per-view by siding with the Alliance. As that storyline wrapped up and was swiftly swept under the rug, Austin turned face yet again and acted like the entire thing just never happened at all. If WWE had just kept Austin babyface the whole year, which is what everybody wanted in the first place, then things would have been a hell of a lot simpler. And that's the bottom line because, well, I said so. And number 1, John Cena. John Cena had one of the best heel turns in history. He also had one of the worst heel runs in history. Doesn't do things by halves, does he, Cena? It all started at Elimination Chamber 2025. After winning the titular match and appearing to side with Cody Rhodes against The Rock, the goodest man to ever good punted Rhodes in the plums and sided with the Great One. Travis Scott was also there, but you didn't forget that, did you? How could you? Cue WWE screwing up one of the biggest slam dunks in wrestling history. Cena's time as a heel champion was just awful. The matches were bad, the storylines were non-existent, and the whole thing reeked of sheer, obvious desperation. WWE had no choice. They would have to spend the rest of the year slowly telling the story of Cena's redemption, so he could retire as the hero he'd been throughout his career. Now, they just shoved him out on TV one week to reverse the entire heel run in one promo. Yep, just one promo, that's what they did. This lazy, uninspired booking cast a dark cloud over what should have been one of the best storylines the company had ever done in its history. Anybody would have deserved better than this, but Cena was owed so much more. At least we get to see him in a nice suit all the time now, and he's got his own classic tournament thing coming up as well, so that's something. Yay!